That's why I'm traveling with no excuse and no limitation to be able to speak these words of wisdom of acceptance. The words of wisdom of reconciliation, forgetting our differences, and then we'll be able to come together as the oneness, men and women on this earth. Amen. Amen. I think that way you're going to say, amen, now he's bringing evangelism here. No, amen means yes. Okay, so don't worry anymore. But among all this, I've been able to admire some people who have been able to stand in front of others and have been able to say something. Trying to bring a common ground among the differences. Let me read you one person. And I quote, is the former Secretary General of the United Nations. This is what he had to say. And he wanted to say that people go beyond themselves. Kofi Annan had to say these words. We may have differences in religion, difference in color and skin, but we all belong to one human race. Amen. Hey, there we go. Okay, I know, one by one. The diorama, a man who has also been able to put himself out there, to be listened and to be seen as a symbol of peace, as a symbol of equality in those countries of China, Taipei, and things like that. This is what I had to say one time, trying to bridge the gap. He says, internal peace is an institute. And it's the first step in achieving people's peace in the whole world. How do you cultivate it? It is very simple, by realizing that all mankind is one. Amen. So we are on the same page. Some people always realize that we are not on the same group of people because of some differences. In my continent, South Africa, not too long ago, 20 years, the white minority group, which was having the political power, had never come to an understanding that they can live together by the issue of black and white. And there was a lot of apartheid going on. But I have good news with this background information I've been able to say, that when you travel to that country, Reverend Eric was there, you can hardly understand the difference now between the two groups. They all live together, they all go to the same restaurants, they all go to the same bar and the same church, just within the last 20 years, which wasn't before. You understand me? Yeah. Forgetting the differences. And then you come together as one. Why is it so difficult for us to be able, even at this time, in our churches, in the sports clubs, in our houses, to be able to come and sit together and have the same cup of coffee as one group? I reminded the first group of people who came here in the morning that in spite of the fact that even the cats and the dogs have forgiven each other, the human beings are not going to do that. Yes, visit the houses of people. You will see the cat and the dogs over there. But who taught them to live together? Ourselves. But we are not willing to teach ourselves to live together. You get the difference? Yes. Therefore, in this dispensation of the 21st century, we need to be able to go beyond some of these barriers of inequality so that we will be able to speak one language. I know that breaking those barriers of inequality all over the world was not an easy thing. Here in this country of America, it was difficult. I learned in my history that a certain bus had to carry black people and then another bus had to carry the white people. But remember, they are all people. But people had to go beyond all of those ones. Even recently, in the last 2 years, you made a difference. Nobody in the African continent and all over other countries would expect it that the American people can vote a black president. No one had even expected that. Then you clap for yourself because the credit is yours. That kind of transition that you made is what we are looking for, to see that we exceed that and be able to sit together as one person. Now, the problem we have is the issue of LGBTI, transgender, and those ones. We can get over them, don't you? Yes. And I tell you one thing, as soon as you do so, as soon as you get over those issues, that's the only time we will be able to see the peace. We will be able to see love and the smile to other people's faces. However, I would love to point out that these differences haven't just started today, but people had to address them. You know what I mean? Over 4,000 years, 3,000 years, there was somebody who had to write like this. Now, this is what they read in our readings today. Someone felt there was something unusual, unhuman, and they had to write like this. Mark, second Mark, I'm the first Mark, is the second Mark. Can I be able to read this again? Yes. The Corinthians. Yeah. I have it. Can I read it? Yes. Just say yes. Yes. Wonderful. I read it. He said yes. Now I'm reading. And now I'm listening. Just as one body, though one, has many parts, but all its parts form one body. So it's with Jesus. For we are all baptized by one Spirit, so as form one body. Or whether Jews or Gentiles, slave or free, and we are all given the same Spirit to drink. Even so, the body is made of many parts. Paul by that time was writing to the church of Corinth. You can call it a church, it might have been a society, it might have been a kind of grouping of people sitting somewhere in the Corinth. And the problem at that time was the issue of Jews, Gentiles, slaves, and free. They were not coming to sit together. And they had to write to them like this. But that is about many thousand years ago. If Paul was to write to the church today, if he was able to write to some congregations and societies, he wouldn't have written like this. Can I tell you how he would have written? Yep. Listen, wonderful. For we are all baptized by one Spirit, so to form one body. Or whether we are gay, or whether we are lesbians, or whether we are black, or whether we are white. That would be the application for today's church. Because what is disturbing us is the racial issue. What is disturbing us today is not always about Jews and no. What is troubling us now is the issue of sexual orientation, of gender. That is our problem. But I want to tell you, men always have tried to address that. So as they did, we can always be able to do the same. And I conclude, and this is the message that I want to read to the very vulnerable people, the very precious group of people that are now I'm also traveled to fight for in my country. Those are the gay people. Are there some gay people? You can raise up your hand, if you don't mind. Even though you have a sister brother, raise your hand at least. Good. These are the words for you. And they are not mine. They are for one of the men who changed this world. And he lived in this country of the United States of America. And you may be able to say, this is it, when I finish to read. This is what he said. Your time is limited, so don't waste it living someone else's life. Don't be trapped by dogma, which is living with the results of other people's thinking. Don't let the noise intuition. They somehow already know that you truly want to become. Everything else is secondary. Who wrote those words? Steve Jobs. Thank you so much. Don't try to live someone else's life. You must live your life. All over the world, people want to deny others. I have had a lady somewhere in Minnesota, and she's called Michael Bachman. She talks very recklessly with her husband that they have a clinic that transforms gay people to become straight people. That's a losing game. You hear me? Yeah. You write to her and tell her, Reverend Mark Kiyimba from Uganda said, you are fighting a losing game. Because people have to live who they are. You don't have to have a conversation, you don't have to have a debate. And when you accept them, and when you bring them together, that's when you're going to see peace dwelling among us. That's when you're going to live together as men and women on this globe, which is very precious, and we may be able to understand, love, desire one another, and be able to drink as well, whatever that we have. I conclude, and I want to say that I'm so grateful that I've been able to come here, that I've been able to have this opportunity to share with you these beautiful words of my confession. Now you know what I stand for, and now you know what we stand for as a Unitarian Church in my country. We respect, we believe in reconciliation, we believe in openness and the love and the kindness of everyone. Thank you so much for listening, and be blessed.